Well, hello, everybody. You get me today. We are live from the CSIA homecoming, and we're going to have us a good time today. So while we let some people get on board and just kind of get situated, I'll be back in just a minute. If I can find the buttons that I want, it's what happens when you're live. All right. So we are really excited to be here. We've been able to see and tour the new facility. And so I've got Christian Rodriguez works at Spark Marketer. And this is the first time that you've actually been up to Indianapolis, right, Christian?
Yeah, that's right.
So I know John Pilger, which was fantastic, took us
Yeah, he was.
on a really lengthy tour yesterday. I mean, we got to see a lot of really cool stuff. But I wanted to get your perspective because, as somebody that's worked in this industry for about 6 years, you've done a lot of content for sweeps and just a lot of stuff that you've done on the marketing side. What was it that you saw in the facility yesterday that really impressed you?
Well, I think the entire scope of the facility. I mean, walking through the training center, there was both indoor and outdoor training facilities. They had a range of different hands-on props and activities that people that are coming through and getting their certification could work through. They had, I mean, all types of different brushes, cameras. I mean, if you think of any type of appliance, I mean, they had some kind of representation of a lot of these appliances there. One of my favorites was in the outdoor section. There was an entire fireplace and chimney system, I mean, from the ground up. And there was a staircase that went all the way to the top. And John was telling us there was over 120 different errors in this chimney structure, again, from the fireplace all the way to the top of the chimney, that trainees can walk all around. They can use the tools to inspect this chimney and try to identify all of these different errors. So I think that was my favorite aspect of it, but it just gave me a good sense of appreciation for what a lot of these guys and girls do every day. There was a lot of history that was also in the indoor portion of the
Mhm.
building, a lot of cool artwork, which I always appreciate. Uh,
Yeah.
but all in all, it was just a really good tour. And for anyone who's thinking of getting their certification, I mean, they're going to get some really good training.
So, as a consumer, you didn't know this one was coming, but you're a homeowner, right? You just
Yeah,
bought your second home. So, as a
right.
consumer, knowing what training a CSIA certified sweep goes through, how do you feel about having a certified sweep in your home as opposed to a non-certified sweep?
Well, I like that you asked that question because there's in the outdoor portion of the training facility, there is also a section where sweeps are tearing down and rebuilding the sort of I don't know if it's called like the facade, but all the area around the chimney as well. So it's
Mhm.
not just the technical aspect that they're identifying potential dangers and risks, but from a homeowner standpoint, just what you're looking at on an everyday basis. What's in your living room? What's gonna look pretty, and what you're gonna decorate or around the mantle and whatever. The fact that they're actually training on how to tear that stuff apart and put it back together, I mean, that was a huge peace of mind for someone who's looking to hire a sweep. Knowing that these certified sweeps are doing that extra step is a
Yeah.
huge plus.
Yeah, it's amazing when you kind of step back and look. You think about, the sweeping and inspection is just going up the flue and coming down, and that's it. But you start looking around and looking at all they had stoves. They've got and different types of stoves. I think I counted 3 or 4 different type of stoves. They had different type of inserts, wood burning. I mean, it's like they have everything there, and the amount of knowledge that you have to do, that all the gas stuff that they had. I mean, it really was impressive. When you go through and look, it makes you as a consumer, me and I'm right there with you, think, wow, why would I hire anybody else but a suite
Well,
that's gone through this?
and with that as well, I mean, we're talking about, the fireplace and inside the chimney, but they also had a training facility for bricklaying and repairing the masonry part of it. So again, that peace of mind of knowing that, okay, I don't have to hire a sweep and then a masonry contractor to also maybe do some of the work. These guys can kind of take care of it all, is a huge plus.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's great. Well, thanks, Christian. I appreciate that. I know you've got Michael Fazy there, so I'm gonna take you off and bring him on in just a second. Okay.
All right, sounds
All
good.
right, bud. Thanks. So one of the things that we're doing today is I've asked a few people to just stop by and kind of tell us a little bit about uh, really what they've learned, some of the more exciting things about this conference. This is a little bit different in the fact that we're just kind of having some fun and figuring out, what is what and where is where, and who's excited and who's not, all here today. And so this is Mike Fazy. Mike, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company as well as where you're from?
Yeah, Mike Fazy from Sacramento, California. Mike's Mobile Screen and Chimney Service. We're a little bit different in that we're not 100% chimneys. We do window screens, security doors in the summer.
Right.
But I'm full in the industry, and yeah, we made our own chimney inspection software, Bare Hands Pro. So
Awesome.
it's not like we take it lightly. It's a little part of our business. It's a huge part of our business.
Right.
Um,
Right. So tell me, why did you choose to come to this conference?
Why I chose to come here, this is the cream of the crop. These are the best guys in the industry, and the classes are great, but what I really love is just rubbing shoulders and being around all these guys here. I mean,
Yeah.
30 minutes ago, I'm working in the hallway and Mark Stoner comes up and I'm picking his brain about his top secret hiring techniques, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Random. There's a cool class yesterday. The first class when we got here was a business owners roundtable.
Mhm.
So it was like high level company owners, all chimney company owners. And I got to say what a big issue was in my company. And I got to hear from all of them, their feedback on what they would do.
Oh, fantastic.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah. You just don't get that anywhere, do you?
And
Yeah.
then I took a class, Jim Brewer's class on fall protection, which I had taken a similar class before, and I'm like, okay, I probably know everything in this. And no, I have a whole bunch of notes, a bunch of new stuff. It's like, okay, this keeps evolving. I got to stay on top of it. And man, now I'm thinking back, like if I wouldn't have gone in that class, these things that I need to know them.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's kind of
That's
scary thinking
fantastic.
that I
Yeah.
almost, and then, so we're building a training facility out in California. So I really wanted to tour. I've never been to the CSIA facility before. Super cool.
Oh, wow.
Got a
Yeah.
bunch of great ideas.
Good.
There I ran into Darren Bebow, and he introduced me to his insurance guy. I was talking to him. Hey, we're missing a few, different types of insurance. So I'm sure
Right.
that's Darren's guy. Like, I'm confident that he's the guy, right?
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that when you come to a conference like this, it's so much more than just the classes. I mean, while the classes are great and you learn, it's a lot of those functions that are in the evenings and just happen along the day that you can pull somebody over and say, "Hey, do you know anything about X?" And it's fantastic. That's
Yeah, there's
fantastic.
guys walking by me. Bart Ogden just walked right by me. I mean, everyone has a wealth of knowledge. So
Yeah.
that's the part that I like, and making friendships. Steve Trumbull,
Mhm.
we kind of talked a little bit on Facebook, but didn't really know the guy. I mean, he's I mean, we've been hanging out for like 2 days now, but I feel like he's a really good friend, and he's
Awesome.
teaching us how to sell. That guy's really good at selling outside mount caps, and so I'm learning a bunch from him, and having a fun time.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you stopping by, and I'm sure I'll see you later this evening.
Yep, I'll see you later. Thanks.
All right, buddy. See you then. So that was Mike Fazy, and I think Bart Ogden, he said just walk by. I asked Bart to stop by yesterday, and so glad that he did. So I'm sure he'll be here in just a minute. But one of the things I'm going to bring on, gentlemen, I'm going to bring on right now is your current vice president. I'm going to bring him on. Just tell us a little bit about some of the new stuff. So Tommy, how you doing, bud?
Buddy, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm awesome as usual.
Good. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun up here the past couple of days, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. So tell me, just real quick, not as the vice president, but just as a participant, what is it that in the last couple of days that you have learned that you didn't know?
Oh boy, one of the things that Michael was just talking about was that roundtable that we did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I picked up a lot of really good stuff. It was really neat being on there with, especially like talking to a guy like Steve Hoover. Steve's talking about he's in a different kind of phase in his business than what we're in. But if I'm being honest with you, I'd never really thought about, I mean, you hear it a lot, exit strategies and, kind of what's the plan. And Steve's getting to that point, and I'm thinking, anything could happen at any point in time. So I probably need to start paying a little bit more attention to that. And then, of course, yesterday, when Chuck Roadhouse was speaking, we got to hear about the new lead generation website that the CSIA is going to do. So I'm really, really excited about that. I know you and Carter worked your tails off on that, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, we are too. We've been working, I think, about 18 months on that. So it's been in the making. It's kind of been behind the scenes, and we never wanted to say anything because we wanted to make sure it would work.
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, I think honestly, for me, one of the best things about these past couple of days is just seeing everybody again.
Yeah.
I mean, 2020 was rough. It was isolating, and you get accustomed to being in this industry, of seeing people and speaking with them and catching up, and then there was changes in the industry which were not easy, and so it's been a hard year, but it's so good to just see people and talk to them and catch up with them and see their facial expressions and the inflection in their voice, and just get to spend time with them, and hear about all the awesome things that everybody's doing, because everybody's doing really, really cool things. And it fires me up. It gets me pumped.
Well, I know that, it's been amazing how many people are in new facilities over the last couple of years. You're one of them.
Yes.
You went into an entire new facility, which is great.
Yes.
I mean, it's always good when you outgrow one thing and go into the other, unless it's your pants. I'm going to say that. If it's your pants, it's not near as fun.
That's true. Yeah, we moved into a new place, and we went from DSL internet, which everything we do is cloud based, which made it difficult, to now we have fiber internet, and it's funny how like making small little moves like that makes such a big difference, right?
Yes.
And it's just like we can compare that to this lead generation site, right? We had something similar to it before. We realized it was something that we could provide a better benefit to our credential holders. They needed it. I heard the negative feedback about the issues with getting those leads and those sorts of things. And so, it wasn't my idea, fully supported it. But man, people worked really, really hard. And I think it's going to be a huge benefit to our folks all over the country. And I'm just super excited about it, because I feel like, man, we're catching up with the technology and how people are shopping now.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you look like, how do I shop? That's
I
how
got to tell you, I've gotten a couple of questions
Yeah.
about it. So I want to go ahead and tell people here kind of what it is. All right. So what we've done is, and actually I'm going to say we, but it should be Carter. What Carter did is do a ton of research. And in the research, he just found that people don't, when they search, they're not searching for individual people unless it's a politician or a influencer or music star or something like that. But when you're searching for a service, I don't search for Tommy Nelms.
Right.
I search for a chimney sweep. That's what I'm searching for. And the way that the current CSIA website was set up, and it's in the bylaws and all, and we've gotten around it in a way that still makes it absolutely by the bylaws. So let me explain that. Because in the old one, it just gives you all the CSA certified credential holders. And if you clicked on one, then you would email that. And so I did have somebody tell me, yeah, that is really good that they're going to be doing it with the company, because I have to tell all my techs, hey, if you get an email, you have to send it to me so we can get it scheduled.
Yes.
And that's been a problem. And it's also a problem because if the techs don't send the owner the emails, they don't realize that they got a lead from the site. They're just, yeah.
Right.
And so the site says, yes, you got this many leads. And the owner's like, no, I didn't. Well, it depends on who got what. The other thing that has happened on the CSIA search is there's this perfect 50 mile circle,
Right.
that says anybody within this circle. And so you would get people that are outside of that circle that you would serve that you never reach, and then people inside the circle that you don't serve that you are reaching, and you don't want either of those things to happen.
Right.
So the way that the listings to leads program actually works is you're going to get an email next week that's going to lead you through a process to be able to set your entire local, perimeter, if you will, wherever that is and how weird shape that is. We can liken it to gerrymandering. You gerrymander
Yes.
in a good way, though, in a good way.
Absolutely.
And make sure that those are the places you serve, and that you don't serve, you're not putting zip codes in that are outside your service area. But it's called an enhanced listing. So 2 other questions I got. One was, what's the basic listing look like? If I don't get the enhanced listing done, what's the basic listing? Well, the basic listing has 1 zip code, 1. Okay. So if they don't put in that 1 zip code, you're not going to come up. This is why it's really important to go in when you get that email and get your enhanced listing done. It's not hard. It really isn't. So the second question that I got, it actually was a comment and a question, which I thought this was really interesting. I had a gentleman stop me yesterday and say, one of the things that I've always hated about CSIA is the fact that they do everything in the Northeast. It's always for the people in the Northeast. They, if they're going to put a billboard up, it's in the Northeast. If they're going to do this, it's in the Northeast. If they're going to do that, it's in the Northeast. And he goes, and I get it. There are more people up there, but I never feel like I get anything. He said, dude, for the first time, I feel like, wow, I'm going to get something.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's fair for everybody.
Yeah.
So I thought that was awesome, because that was one of the things that we talked about, making it fair, making it really fair.
Yes, absolutely. And to kind of piggyback on top of that, I had the opportunity to speak yesterday morning after, we kind of told everybody what we were working on and what we had done. And I think it's important that, and I want to repeat it because I know that some people are going to see this that may not have been or not here. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about CSIA, there has been in the past, and I've gotten this, the questions from people about it as well. But there's this sense that the CSIA is the staff and then the board, and then the credential holders. I hope that, and what I want to focus on is that I hope that everybody feels the CSIA, in my mind, is all of us. Not to be cliche, but if you work for staff, if you're on the board, if you're a credential holder, we are the CSIA. Right. And we need everybody to be involved. We need people that, I don't care if today is your first day, man, we need you. Okay. If you've been in the business for 100 years, we need you, and we need everything in between. And we'll be sending out some information here soon of, excuse me, how you can get involved, because we want involvement. We want feedback. We want all this information. I love this Facebook page because it gives people the opportunity to ask these questions. And we're going to try and get those answers to you as quick as we possibly can. I feel like, man, we're coming out of this with a ton of momentum. We're coming out of this with a lot of energy, and we want to keep that going. And we need everybody's energy. We need everybody's involvement. And I'm just really, really, really excited about where we're going. And I'm super excited to do this with the people that are here and the people that are not here. And man, just like everybody just getting together, and let's do some big things. That's what I look forward to. And I think we're going to do it. I really do.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And guess what? Guess who we have with us now? I'm just going to bring him on. Stay on, Tommy. I'm just going to bring Bart, because Bart brings it. All I got to say.
Absolutely.
Bart Ogden always brings the magic. Always. I don't know if you know this, Bart, but Carter and I quote you all the time. We love the silly season, and it's coming.
We have peak season, silly season, and regular season.
Yeah. Somebody the other day said, it's really not busy season anymore because I'm busy all year round. And I said, it's silly season. That's what I'm doing. And they were like, man, it is silly season, and it's coming. So Bart, you've been around a long time, dude. Why do you keep coming back to these things?
Well, it's just so important that business owners and frankly anybody in the industry stay tied into kind of the hub or the source. And really CSIA for our industry is the source. It's kind of like plugging directly into the main transformer, the main power plant. CSIA is doing some fantastic things, just in the last 2 years. One of the biggest things that I can think of is the development of the certified chimney specialist, that designation within our industry, which really aligned our trade with those other trades. Or now you have basically the apprentice, which basically is your base level certification with the certified chimney sweep. That gives us a place to start, so that we know that person, guy or gal, and frankly, ladies, we would love to have a bunch of you in this industry. My wife used to run a truck for 10 years by herself and just did fantastic. So any women that are looking at doing something basically non-traditional, I guess, what a great trade. But with the CSIA certified chimney sweep credential, that gives us a baseline. So we've got something to work with there. Then before we had the certified chimney specialist credential, there was the master credential. And it was a long time to get that, and it really needed to be a long time. So like the other trades who have a master, but what we were really missing was the journeyman credential. And that's what the certified chimney specialist is designed to do. So it gives our employees, our team members, a path to success within the industry. And, that didn't just come about, with just a flip of a switch. There are some extremely dedicated people in this industry at the board level and at the non-board level as well that chipped in and donated their time, talents, and effort to really produce that. This is such a special industry in the fact that I've never been around another trade that you get so tied in emotionally with your clients. I've been in the trade long enough where I've served 3 generations of people. And, you know, those three generations of customers, they don't take pictures around their water heater. They don't take pictures around the HVAC unit or around the sump pump or their sprinkler system. But, you know, we work on their memory maker.
Yeah.
And we just have such a tight connection with that. And the board members of CSIA get that. And the members of CSIA get that. And, you know, today we had kind of a special get together for all the master chimney sweeps that were in attendance here. And the master sweeps get that. So we're actually looking at really focusing more of a mentoring pattern or a mentoring role, I guess, for master sweeps throughout the United States, because the master sweep credential that's been developed, you know, that really is the pinnacle of the industry. And there's just so many things, but getting plugged in, back to your original question of why do I come back? Yes, I come back because it's important to plug into the regular power source regularly.
Yeah, that's great. That makes a lot of sense. It's like anything else in life, you know, if you have a mentor, you have a mentor for life, you know, because they're always ahead of you. And that's what I like. You got all these great ideas, great people together, and to get in the same room with them,
Yeah.
you learn something every time. I mean, I'm in the marketing industry, right? I still learn something every time I come to one of these things. Every time.
You know, that years ago, there was a man in this industry, and his name was Jack Pixley. And he was really someone that I miss him so much because he has left us. But he always signed his emails with Jack Pixley, always learning. And, you know, Jack had been in the industry, and he'd literally been all over the world, throughout Europe, met the European sweeps, saw how they operated and how they've operated for years. And he brought a lot of that back to our industry. Again, it goes back to this is a special deal here in this industry. It's a niche, but it carries such an emotional bond and such caring in this industry that people outside just they don't understand that a lot.
Yeah. So Tommy, I'm giving you the opportunity right now to interview Bart Ogden and find out anything you need to know as the next president of CSIA.
Okay.
There you go.
And I will. So it's funny, man. I was excited when you said Bart was coming on, because Bart was one of the guys in the roundtable yesterday, and I was sitting there taking notes, and I'm pretty sure I wrote down most everything that Bart said, because it's so good, and you bring so much value, and I appreciate all of the nice things and the support that you give in CSIA for all these years, and for working so hard to become a master sweep. Knowing that, we know that we still need to go to work. And as your future president of the CSIA, one of the things that I talked about yesterday was just getting more people involved and getting people excited about what we are doing. And so, Bart, I guess you've been around for a while. And you've been very, very involved with different things. So tell the people, how did you get involved? Tell them, you know, what does it mean and to be a part of something like that's much bigger than all of us? How did you get started? Like, how did you become such an impactful person inside of our industry?
Well, you know, I've been August 15th. In fact, I guess that was just a few days ago, will be my 42nd year of being involved in this industry. Really just kind of fell into it, a little bit of a long story, but as I developed throughout the industry, and as the NCSG and CSIA came to life throughout my career, because people don't understand that at one time there was no CSIA. But the CSIA has come to stand for basically throughout the industry, it's come to be the standard. And I always needed something to be, I guess, something, some sort of a benchmark to hold myself and our team members to. And, you know, even throughout the years with all the court cases that have come about throughout the industry, you know, they've always referred back to, well, the CSIA credentials. But I just felt that it was an outlet for me to make some sort of a difference. And you really just hit upon that by when you said being something that's bigger than you. Everyone should always be a part of something bigger than themselves, because that stretches you as an individual, stretches you as a business owner, stretches you as a teammate with your team members. And for me, it's just always been what I could do. I have a certain amount of time and talent that I can assist with. And I've always been the guy to pitch in and just see if I could make some sort of a difference. One thing that was mentioned at this conference is don't necessarily seek accolades, but seek a way to make impact.
Yes.
And that's an impactful statement. So I think everybody in the industry should think about that a little bit. And that's what right now the board members, the leaders in this industry, the upcoming leaders in this industry, they get that, is the fact that, you know, it's not about us. It's about what kind of a legacy are we going to leave, and what kind of an impact is CSIA and the organization as a whole, what's that making? Because what we do now is going to affect history in the next, 10, 20 years, way after you and I are gone.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and that what you just said about accolades and impact, that was so when I said that yesterday, that was not my quote. So do not credit me for that. I had my hero, my battalion chief at the fire department. That's what he used to tell us. He would say, "Don't chase accolades, chase impact. Accolades will die with you. Impact will last for forever." And here we are. We're talking about it, right? And he was right. And that is the focus that we want to have. So, and I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate all your hard work. And man, there's a lot of different Bart Ogdens out there that have put in a tremendous amount of work. And we got to tour the tech center yesterday, and all the work that goes into that. And a lot of people donated a ton of time, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
That tech center. I was on the board of directors for two organizations when we built that center, and people don't know the things that we went through putting that center, basically bringing it to life. Most people don't know that we really looked at a funeral home at one time that we were going to remodel and make the technology center. So you could have been in something like that, but I was fortunate enough to serve with a group of individuals, men and women, that were on both those boards at that time, and just the impact, again, the impact that center has made on the industry. That was a paradigm shift in this industry, because we never had anything like that. Like when the NFPA 211 committee that was led by Jim Brewer put together the NFPA 211 standard for inspections of chimneys, which has basically stood untouched for years, and has just now this year had some suggested edits to it. That's an amazing run for setting a standard in this industry that everybody can say, okay, I can hang my hat on that, and I can move forward, and I can make a difference here, and I can save people's lives, property, everything else.
That's right. And I think you said something interesting there, that you had the opportunity to serve on different boards, and I appreciate that. And I think that it's important to know that whether you're on the CSIA board or not, we're all still serving the industry, right? And we're all trying to help each other, and we're trying to elevate the industry and make people safer. It's the people that are in our industry and safer, in fact, as they do their job, and keep homeowners more educated. And so, Bart, let me ask you this, man. What's the one thing that you've heard? I know we have another day tomorrow, but what are you most excited about? It doesn't matter if it was a class, if it was a conversation. What's your takeaway? What's the thing you're most excited about going home and doing or thinking about or seeing happen?
Boy, there's been a lot. I've literally, I'm almost through my first legal pad, in just 2 days. I mean, just a lot of stuff. And again, I've been doing this for 42 years, always learning every day. But this thing's been like drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah.
I guess though, if I was to look at the conference so far, the biggest thing besides being able to actually get together with one another once again, which hasn't that been a drag, but being able to get around each other and get re-energized with just, hey, we're moving forward with things. Things are happening behind the scenes. Education is growing. Educational opportunities are growing. But I got to tell you, I think I go back to the impact statement. That really gave me goosebumps when that was presented, and I think that to me will help me go back and help me be a better team leader. And I'm going to spread the word on that because I think that is a very powerful thing. It just shows, again, it's not all about the technical stuff. It's not about ads. It's not about marketing. It's not about how fancy or how not fancy your trucks are. It's about what we do as an industry and how we can make an impact on others. And again, that's different in this industry than others.
And I think that's what makes us very, very unique, is that you have so many people in our industry that have such big hearts. And I think you said earlier, it's a very emotional. The emotional connections are very, very deep.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very, very special. And I think that that's what excites me the most about this, is that, man, we don't do this just because, we get paid well, and it's fun, but we do it because we feel like we're really, really making a difference, because we are.
Yeah.
Because what we do is important and what we do matters. And I can't wait to go back home and tell Eddie, my chief, to tell his wife how much Eddie's words are impacting people all over the country.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing, and it just reaffirms everything that's what matters. The accolades don't matter. And when I say accolades, it could be notoriety, it could be money, it could be all of these different things. But man, if we chase impact, those accolades they're going to come.
Yeah.
But if we keep our focus right, man, we're going to do big things, man.
And there was a lot. Here's something that's interesting that's happening in the industry. You and I have been around this long enough to see this start happening, and it's really starting now, is the fact that Generation 2 is coming.
Yes.
And we were able to, not me necessarily, but this event was able to expose that to the next generation that's coming. And boy, if we had the access to educational opportunities, the technological advantages that are here, rather than banging a couple rocks together and hope we got lightning back in the day. I mean, back in the 80s, dude, we were walking around in the dark ages of this industry. Yeah. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these guys and gals have such an opportunity to really just make that next light speed jump to the next paradigm shift in this industry. It's happening, and it's happening right now.
I know. Isn't it awesome? That's one of the things I was going to say, was that one of the coolest things is you're walking through this homecoming and you're looking out in the classrooms, and dude, there are young men and women everywhere, man. And I'm talking to these folks, and let me tell you something. These people are smart, and dude, they get it. And man, I tell you what, dude, we're in good hands.
They are fired up coming out of this event.
Man, they are.
That's another thing that these regularly attending events like this, even if it's just once a year, you still get plugged back into the main transformer and somebody throws that switch.
Yes. recharge those batteries. Now, Taylor, I mean, Bart and I could go on all night here.
Oh well, I realize this. That's why I just slowly came back on. But you'll realize too that I'm a pretty good marketer. I also know when to get the heck out of the way and just let y'all talk.
Yeah.
So Bart, I so appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much for sharing that. I'm going to keep Tommy here for just a minute because we're gonna go out with something else. Man, we're going to have to just have you on again. I'll just tell you, just on the marketing piece. So I really appreciate you taking the time, Bart. Thanks so much.
I got to get back to class.
There you go. See ya. So, Tommy, really, let's talk a minute about the impact. What kind of impact do you want to have on CSIA going forward?
Man, I think that impact could be a lot of different things. We hear. I talked about this in a class yesterday. You come to these things and you hear a lot of cliches, right? And you hear, "Leave it better than you found it," which is certainly true. Grow the industry. That is certainly true. But I think that when I talk about impact, I want to make sure that that people understand, and a lot of people do, but I don't think we put enough emphasis and focus on that what we do, our trade and our industry, it is so important. My background is in the fire service. It was ingrained in me that fire prevention starts with education. Okay. I tell a story all the time. I had an engineer. I made a stupid comment about making a run on a good fire. And he knocked me down, and he told me, he said, when you figure out that your job is to stop the fire from ever happening than it is as opposed to putting it out, you'll be the most successful firefighter who's ever worked here. And it fundamentally changed me.
Yeah.
And then I had the privilege of working under a guy like Eddie House. And those of you that don't know, Eddie House was my first battalion chief. He was my friend, and he was my hero and a mentor to me. And he just passed away last week. And that when we talk about impact, that comes directly from him. That is not from me. I learned that. I was taught that from him. And I'll tell you this, I wish he could have seen it, because there were thousands of people at his funeral. There was a funeral procession that was 5 miles long. As we're driving through town, people are getting out of their cars, standing outside of the car just to pay their respects to Eddie House. They may not have known him, but they knew of him. Okay. I don't care if people know who I am, but I want people to know who we are. I want people to know who the CSIA is. I want people to know that the CSIA is a group of people that are dedicated to their craft, right? That we're craftsmen. We're not tradesmen. We are in a trade, but man, we hone our craft, right? We're constantly sharpening our skills, and we care about what we do. And when we talk about making an impact, we can impact our friends in the industry. We can impact the people that we get the pleasure to work with, and we can impact our customers. Okay. Just like in the fire service, our job, we are a link in the fire prevention chain. Okay. We are in the prevention business. We are called out. We spend our marketing dollars. Of course, we want to make an income and provide for our families, but we market and we instruct and we educate the homeowner, the end user, to prevent something bad from happening. That's what we want. I want everybody to enjoy their fireplace. I want everybody to have hot water, not have to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning, or have heat and not have to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning. And what we do matters. And we have to take that attitude and that perspective and take that out to the entire country, because we touch a lot of people. We do. I mean, we've got sweeps all over the country that are the CSIA, and we impact a lot of people. And if we start making our main focus on education and preventing and spending time with our customers, and as the CSIA at the board level and at the staff level, we work really, really hard for everybody else. And that's our job, and elevate the industry in the sense that we work hard to educate the homeowners all over the country. We get more of our people of the CSIA, like this lead generation, get them in front of the homeowner, make it easier for them to do business with the CSIA, the all of us together. We're going to make a huge impact. And I think that we can do something huge. I really do. There's a saying, sometimes I think we think we're too small. There's a book that I love. It's called Step Up and Lead. It's written by Frank Viscuso. He's a fire chief. And he says, if you think you're too small to do something, go to sleep with a mosquito in your room. The point is that even though we're not as big as HVAC or roofers, we can have a huge impact. And we are, because we have the CSIA, and everybody that is in it that makes up the CSIA can make a huge impact. And we're going to. I can promise you that.
Well, thanks, Tommy. I appreciate that. And I'm getting some feedback. Sorry, guys. We're gonna leave it there and just let everybody know to look into their emails next week. Early next week, you should be getting an email that gives you directions and what you need to do with the Listings to Lead program. We've gotten a lot of questions on Facebook. This email is going to answer a lot of those questions. And I'm with you, Tommy. I think this is going to be impactful.
Yes.
I think when we educate the consumer that what they need to look at is a CSIA certified suite, that is the most excellent certification in the industry, that y'all put forward, that you put those two things together, then it's a win for everybody.
Yes.
And it is impactful.
Absolutely. And I just say, man, let's go do big things, because we can do it, and we're going to.
I believe that organizations and certifications of all kinds are needed. I've always said that there's room enough for everything and everybody. We just need to make sure that the public understands that they need to look for certified sweeps.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Hope y'all have a good week. See you next week.